This is the summation of the July 16th meeting of the Mendham Borough Town Council, 2007. Meeting, the mayor wasn't in attendance, so the head of the council presided over the meeting and started the meeting as usual with a moment of silent prayer. It's supposed to be a moment of silence to have any respect for the Constitution and the rest of the people in this country who don't believe in God, and the Pledge of Allegiance, which also violates the same principle. But anyway, moving on. First issue discussed was some deal with the Newfields and their property. They want to apparently, they're the same people involved with the library deal. Apparently they want to put a tennis court on their property. They needed to switch some government protected land for some private land that they hold, so they'll have enough room to put the tennis courts in. They're going to give, it's like a, they're going to, it's going to be 3,000 square feet for 8,000 square feet, so the more land will end up being government land. I don't know whether it's better land or not, but that's the way it works. And the council didn't have to vote or approve anything. It's just a state application process, and it has to go before a public hearing. And of course, the public really didn't pay much attention. Second, the item for discussion was similar land deal. The Thomas tract, which is 100+ acres, is next to the Newfield property, and there's a proposal for shift to the park to add this property to their park, and it's I guess 107 acres. It's going to cost, they wouldn't give a price because they have some sort of verbal agreement, and it's going to be something over $6 million because they're going to try to get a $5 million grant from the state, and then they'll it's proposed that the town has another $900,000 in Green Acres funds that could be used for the purpose, and that there might be even more money that they have to collect, to do the deal. Property is expensive, whatever, but so we'll pay $7 million or $8 million to stop. I guess there's a proposal to have a 13-lot subdivision. Questions were raised, a couple of little questions about I guess how the land is assessed, and people have this perception that people own property, pay property taxes on it, but they don't, because it's all assessed as farmland. They're all called tree farms. They pay $100 an acre on the land, and they don't farm trees. They just, it has trees growing on it. They don't farm them. They don't harvest them. They don't sell them. So I don't think it's really a farm. So anyway, we might not have to pay so much for property if they actually tax the property. If they tax the property, people wouldn't hold on to it because it would cost them so much to hold on to it. But that's the way the world works. So obviously there would be some tax-based implications for the subdivision. I mean, obviously you have a taxable property, and then whether but then there's value in having the land open space. And I mean, certainly my preference would be that they buy the land, but that's a lot of money. Next up was a discussion of the voucher system, or the way that the council has to basically sign the receipt. So they do a lot of signing at the council meetings, and so they basically want to expedite that process, have one bill list that they would sign that would have everything included on it, and they're basically validating those expenses. The only question is whether we're going to get more specific or less specific information. The idiotic administration of the town complains that their computer program only allows 25 characters. Now, this town spends more than $10,000 on average a year on computer equipment, and they can't process a document. This is the most inept bullshit, excuse me, You know, I don't know why we put up with this crap. You know, we pay these people. You know, the clerk gets 70 grand, well, 60, whatever. The borough administrator's over $100,000 now. These, you know, and this is just crap. The stuff they supply me by law is absolute garbage. It's not, they don't comply with the law. I know the council members are in fact reading a document that they can actually read that apparently has a description and a price of how much it was spent. That's actually on the same page. Because the information they provide me, you want to figure out. First they list what was bought, and then 15 pages later they by some other number they list you know, how much was spent, and the two numbers aren't tied in any way except their sequence. So I have to basically cut the document in half, put it, you know, and do them in order, and it just, you know, preposterous nonsense. And so I know they're reading better stuff than that. And so these people just break the law. They don't care about the friggin' law. They just do whatever the hell they want, and it, you know, it's just a fascist government. So there's no accountability. If you want to be in government, you take a lie detector every year. You do your frickin' job the way you're supposed to do it in compliance with the United States Constitution, or you don't have a job. Period. I mean, that should be the, you get nice perks as being a government employee. The end should be that every year you have to swear, you know, on a lie detector test that you did your frickin' job as you were contracted to do, both by what you swore to and by your actually what you're getting paid to do. Show up for work and do work. Not 50, you know, not complain about software programs being the obstacle. We'll get new software programs, idiots. You'll probably get it for free online. Anyway, next was some discussion of a variance for a sewer connection. One council member raised the point that this shouldn't have been in the consent agenda, and that, you know, if they're gonna give variances, they really should be addressed seriously, because why is, you know, one person allowed to expand their house and not have to do X, Y, Z and change this and fix that, and other people aren't? So there probably is some inconsistency. You know, if you're friends with the government, it goes through fast. If you're not, you're screwed. And speaking of attitudes of government, apparently was going to be some sort of charitable event, some sort of idiotic group, Grapes for Frogs or something. And apparently one of the council members, Stanton, had something to do with this charity group, so it must suck if she's part of it. But anyway, you know, not discussing the merits of the idiotic charity. They were going to have this event at KC's, apparently, which is like a little diner of some sort. And the town said no, because they, you know, in the original contract with the town, they're not allowed to have more than 14 seats, and they're not allowed to have any private parties. And this variance would allow them to have more than 14 seats, and then it would also allow them to have liquor. But whatever, it seems like a lot of, you know, the town and apparently KC's and the town are having problems, legal problems over other issues, and so the town is just finding a petty way to seek its revenge, and it's done it with me, so I'm sure that's what's going on here, that it's something that would go right through if it wasn't for the fact that you know, the town council doesn't like KC's. There was a bunch of resolutions that went through without any discussion. There's some sort of deal with the water infiltration crap with the sewage plant, so apparently we're going to hire another consultant to do some more consulting. You know, just you know, who knows? Supposed to get some work done eventually, I suppose, but lots of consultants. Big one for me was the well, we're almost around, well, maybe 40 seconds. The Roscoe Press. The town's going to pay $20,000 for that stupid, crappy, shitty little newsletter. I mean, that 4-page piece of crap with this nothing information. I mean, the whole inside is about stupid events at the library. You know, the rest of it is, you know, where not to walk your dog or some other bullshit. $20,000 a year for 10 issues of junk that should be online anyway. You know, a decent website, you wouldn't need this shit. Anyway, part 2.